Well, I think that we probably we had a few players that were playing okay in the first half, but not enough. And then I thought after half time, everyone jumped on board and became a real weight of numbers issue in that second half when we didn't really have too many poor players. I think in the final part of the game.
Because he looked at times he was angry.
Yeah.
Just so he's trying to physically lift the television.
Yeah, I thought what I really noticed was with Goodsy was his speed. He looked really sharp and really ran well at the ball. I thought to kick 18 goals and have Sam Reid at centre half forward, Andreas Everett in the full forward the first half. Goodsy was going through there in the second half, but I thought that was a terrific result really to do that.
Is that potentially a bit of a breakthrough for Sam, just to kick a couple of long-range goals, also take a lot of marks?
Yeah, I think it's we really think he can play, and we invest some games into him, and I think along the lines he's been playing pretty well, but just hasn't been hitting the scoreboard. I think he kicked 1 goal 9 or something up until tonight. So for him to kick 3 straight, I think was a really good result for him. So as a young key position player playing one of the hardest positions on the ground, I thought it was a fantastic return for him.
And you had 12 goal kickers all up. When you don't have a really dominant guy there with the bags, I guess that's important.
Yeah, I thought that was really pleasing to have 12 goal kickers and to share the workload. I thought a lot of blokes in the end ended up with a lot of the ball, but I thought our options going forward were a lot more potent, and to have 12 goal kickers was a great return for us.
What did you make of the first half?
I don't think we were great in the first half. We're up at half time, I think, by 8 points or something. We weren't great, but I think nothing can be taken away from Port Adelaide. They were only 6 points down at three-quarter time against Hawthorn last week, so they were up and about. They were going pretty well, and it just took us a bit of time at half time to settle and to get a bit more consistent in a few of the areas we wanted to in the second half. But I thought they played some really good football in that second half.
Is it a bit of a misnomer that Sydney's regarded as being a really experienced side, but there's quite a few kids. It's a good point. I mean, half the team tonight have played 50 games or less, and which I think's fantastic for the future of the footy club. But it's also good for now. We're not in the business of giving games out and using that just to say we're giving games into some young kids. I think that if you saw Sam Reid's performance tonight, Luke Parker came on as a sub and I thought looked really good in that last quarter. Alex Johnson down back has been super. Daniel Hanbury got going in that last quarter again tonight. So we feel as though we've changed the list a fair bit in the last 2 years, and some of the kids coming through we're really excited about, and we think are good for the future. But it's important that they're good now. It's not an excuse if you're young. You need to come in and perform, and they have the responsibility and also the mature head to be able to do that.
You mentioned how we got going in the second half. How do you assess his season today? Because obviously there was a lot of scrutiny of him after winning the Rising Star last year. The perception has probably been that he's been steady without really being great this year. Yeah,
I thought that his first few games were a little bit quiet, but I thought he was fantastic last week. I thought he was really clean and played really instinctive footy last week. So I thought last week was pretty good, and everyone expects, I think, every young player to come through and just keep on going up. And sometimes you get to a certain point, you plateau a bit, and then you go again. And I've got no doubt Hannes is this type of character who'll go again. But he just works so hard at his game.
You mentioned earlier in the week someone like Lewis Johnson was knocking on the door. How many of these other young kids could you potentially blood between now and the end of the year?
Well, we'll continue to look at them. We want to make sure we've got as many players on our list that can play senior football if we need to, and we want to make sure we extend the depth of our footy club, which we've been able to do last year and this year. And I think, if you looked at our reserves today, we played the Gold Coast here, and there was a number of really good players in our reserves. Young players like Lewis Johnston and Brett Meredith, young kids like that did pretty well, but also
and Mark Seavey did well again. I think Trent Dennis-Lang might have kicked 7 or 8 goals. So, we need to make sure that there's that pressure on, but also it's not so much just about the pressure, it's more about making sure we've got enough players on our list that can come in and contribute at senior level and not just make up the numbers.
The theory about not giving cheap games to the kids, is that more so that they earn it and really cherish it when they get that?
No, I just think, it's more the fact that we're excited to play these young kids, but we're not just... We think they can actually contribute to our team to win on the weekend, as well as be better players in the longer term. So it's a combination of both. It's not just, hopefully we'll get games in them and at some point down the track they'll turn. When we select them, we expect them to contribute on the weekend. And I guess, that's probably the starting point when we pick a kid. Is he good enough to help us possibly win on the weekend? And if the answer is yes, he gets the nod. And the flow-on effect from that is that hopefully he experiences those senior games of football and becomes a better player at senior level.
How did Nick Malcheski pull up after his first hit out on the Tuesday?
Very good. Yeah, he was jumping out of his skin, so he was really keen to keep playing more in the reserves today. I thought he looked really sharp, played really well. Campbell Heath was the other player who played his first game today, and he looked really good as well. So, both of them were really good today.
How long did Mal play?
He might have played about 70 minutes, and he played half-back, midfield, forward, and looked really good.
Is it likely the same sort of story with guys like Tyg and Robert Thompson playing 3 or 4 games before you consider bringing him back?
Yeah, it's probably something we've looked at most of the year, is to give them a couple of games to see how they're going and to get some match conditioning in them. We'll have to see how Mel... We like to treat everyone a little bit differently. The defenders, particularly Tyg and possibly Louis, that we probably need them to play 100 minutes minimum, whereas maybe some other players we might be able to get away with. But we'll sit down during the week and work out whether he needs another week or 2 or anything other than that.
Was it pleasing to actually put a team to the side tonight? Like they had that chance last week against the Bulldogs to actually finish a team.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Bulldogs are a top 4 team from last year, so it's not an easy thing to do against a quality team to do that. I thought that tonight our run in the last half was really important. I thought that we ran really well, and the uncontested possession count, I think, in the second half was pretty significantly our way. So I think we won the inside ball, but then ran really well in that second half, and that was the pleasing thing to finish the game off really strongly.
And injuries-wise, did you end up okay, John?
Yeah, I think so. I think we subbed Nathan Gordon, but he was okay, and so I haven't spoken to the medical boys, but I'll speak to them after the game. But hopefully, a clean bill of health.